Hi, it's Joe Himmeley, and today I'm in Georgetown, and I wanted to talk about something that was suggested to me by one of my followers. Here's the corner of 28th and P Streets in Georgetown, and if you look here, you'll see what looks like a typical wrought iron fence that separates the street from the house at 2803 and 2805 P Streets. Just walking by, there would be nothing out of the ordinary when you first look at this fence, but if you look carefully, you'll see that this is a fairly typical gate, and that it's got a narrow piece of metal that's a solid bar that creates the spindle. But this spindle to its right actually tapers. It's wider at the base and narrows as it goes to the top. Another thing you might not notice right away is that there's a missing finial on this end of the fence. And if you were to put your finger up at the top and feel the top of it, you discover that it's a hollow tube. So the question is, why are these tapering and why is it that they're hollow? The real giveaway about this fence, though, is here on this particular spindle. You can see that the spindle narrows, and at the top there's a little knob there, and that is actually a gun sight, because this fence is made out of surplus military rifles. So the story goes that in the War of 1812, right before the British invaded Washington in 1814, the federal government needed money, and they borrowed it from wealthy business owners in Georgetown. The owner of this property was Reuben Daw, and he was one of the gentlemen who lent the federal government money. At the end of the war, the government didn't have any money to pay people back, so they allowed people to take surplus military gear and use it in lieu of payment. And Mr. Daw chose these gun barrels and had them converted into a fence. Now, the story of this fence was not actually reported until almost 100 years after the war ended, so there's not any certainty that this story is actually true, but it still makes an interesting tale when you walk through Georgetown.